to do this guy, and then another one. I have really fun walk in my studio, so I really want to sketch that guy. So hopefully we can get that done. Okay, sorry. My phone is acting up a little bit. First. Okay, perfect. I think that looks good. Alright, so let's start sketching. I've got, as always, I like to use my gray zebra to get the initial sketch down. So I'm going to try and do it very loosely and very quickly. We are not worried about the form. And we're just going to do it real quick. Okay, don't think too much about it. And it's gonna look ugly, it's gonna look slightly unpolished, but that's okay. At this stage, it doesn't really matter. So, is this little small little trunk of chest that I have? It's really cute. So it might look different from your perspective, but this is what I see. So I'm gonna do that. And just a little lock there. And there's a little lock here. It's kind of like a funky lock. Okay. So this is just very initial sketch down, okay? And then grab, I'm using himi gouache today. I've got, oh sorry, I forgot to add the necklace. So I'm gonna add the peaking necklace there, the pearl necklace. Those are not real pearls. They just a fun little necklace that I have. So I thought it would be a nice touch to add those. Okay, now let's add some color. I'm gonna use, so I'm thinking, should I use the colors that I see here or should I mix it up a little bit? So I might do both. Some of the colors that I see and some that I don't see but I think would work for the composition. So I'm gonna just quickly, this stage is called color blocking. So we're just kind of marking the colors, what we want in those spots. And then I am going to add a little bit more depth. I'm going to add some orange. The lights that are happening here. Alright, so for that part, I see, maybe I'll use some yellow ochre mixed with a little bit of peach. I don't know. Let's see. So I'm gonna add. So I'm keeping my brush really, really loose. I'm holding it from the end, and I'm keeping my wrist really loose. I should have had the fan on here. So hot today. My studio is. I mean, I can't complain. I love summer, so it's kind of nice coming out of that winter. Okay, so okay, now I'm gonna add dark colors here. Mix in a little bit of brown. So you see how like I'm keeping my brush strokes really nice and loose. That's what you want to do. Okay. Alright, this is called color blocking. So we have the colors down. I'm going to do a little bit for the pearls as well. For the pearls, let's see, there's a little bit of blue and a little bit of gold happening there. So let's mix that color. beautiful Payne's gray in this palette, which is really nice. I'm using himi gouache in case you're wondering. It's a really nice palette actually. The only thing I find is that it gets dried up really quick, so I have to like spray it with water so it stays nice and moist. Okay, let's go the shadow part. Let's add some of that. So don't worry at this stage about the details too much because we are just still color blocking. Okay. So once you've blocked your colors, now I'm gonna start to work on my shadows. So you see where the object is meeting the table? This is the darkest area for your shadow. Okay. So where the object meets the surface, that will be your darkest, right? So I'm gonna just kind of make that my darkest area for shadow. There we go. And then as my shadow moves away from there, it gets lighter and lighter. So I'm just gonna use some water to thin it out a little bit. Okay. Again, this is meeting the surface, my pearls, so I'm going to just slightly make it darker. Right now it's too wet, so maybe I'll come back to it, but you get the point. Okay. Alright. Now, to add some depth to this, we're going to work on our lines. I'm going to grab let me just see. I got this really nice pen. It's for illustrations and such, but it's a really nice tip. Check that out. Focus. It's a really nice brush tip. So I'm going to use that to line my stuff. And I'm going to keep the line shaky on purpose because that's going to give that really nice looseness to it. Okay. There we go. Keep it nice and loose. And if you go over a line a few times, that's actually a good thing, so don't worry about that. It's supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to worry too much about capturing the details. Okay. So go. Okay. I'm gonna add some depth there. And then you see like this is open. So I'm gonna add some color there so it looks like it's like it gives the illusion of that it's open. So I think for that I'm gonna use Payne's gray mixed in with a dark brown. Let's see what that looks like if I go in there. Nope, I want it even darker, so I'm gonna use some dark green there with a little bit. Apologies for that ding ding in the back. That's just my phone sending me notification. Okay. There we go. So I'm gonna see this is really dark in there. Looks like the chest or drawer is open. Not just a drawer, the little trunk. And then I'm gonna add, because there's like a slight bit of light happening there, so I'm gonna add illusion of light entering the little tiny box. Okay, perfect. Now, back to our detailing. I have another pen. Where are you? I've got a whole kit, guys. Okay, so I got another zebra, and it's a clickable. And it goes out like that, so I use it for fine details. Then I'm gonna just add my here, keeping it nice and loose. Shaky lines are good on purpose. And I'm gonna do this guy so it looks like the back is open. Details here. Okay. And now all that detail on top I really like. So I'm going to work on that a little bit actually. So I've got a gray clickable zebra. We'll use that to add some details here. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just some sort of organic leaves and shapes and such. So I'm just gonna wing it a little bit. Doesn't have to closely match it, but try not to touch it too much. I'm gonna destroy it. Okay, so here goes some leaves there. I was hoping to work on my oil painting today, but I just love sketching so much. I keep coming back to it more than I paint these days. Not that I don't like painting, I love painting, but you know what I mean. This is actually very low key, less stressful type of an activity for me, so had a busy morning. I thought maybe I'll just get a sketch or two in today. Okay, so you see I'm just adding some details, closely matching that little guy. Just realized that there should be two lines there, not one. So let's do that. There should be two lines here, two lines there. Okay. And now make sure that this is really dark. Remember, when the object is meeting the surface, that's your darkest. And then I'm going to make sure that my necklace is also popping a little bit, so I'm going to add those details next. Gonna fix that a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let me just check. I might have gold ink for this. Hold on. Look at my stash of inks. At this point, I feel like I have too many art supplies. Let me find my ink. I've got the silver ink. It's by Winsor Newton. I've got a silver one. Maybe I'll use that. Let's try that. got this red ink as well. Okay. I like them both. This is really nice. So we're gonna try to use this guy. So I'm gonna use a little bit of the silver ink on my pearl necklace. I might have to shade it up a little bit here. And then we color. Can you see that? Okay, good. Ooh, it's so shiny. Okay, I love it. Can you see the shiny pearls? I love it. Okay, very nice. So now we are going to use, we'll try the red one. How about? So let me just clean my brush. And then I'm going to use the red ink. So I'm going to dip it in there. And I'm going to add some depth to my little treasure box. Okay. Remember, we're keeping it nice and loose. So, are you ready for the splatter? I'm going to dip this in there. Let's do a little splatter. Okay, we need lots of splatter. I'm kind of obsessed with splatter, so I need more. Alright, so that's perfect. Very nice. I love it. I love that it's looking very cool and sketchy. I feel like I need to add some text and some background. So for that, let me see. I'm gonna clean my brush first. I might actually, maybe I'll do the background first before I add the text. Yeah, let's do that. So for background, I will do the nice Payne's gray, mixed with blue a little bit. It's like a cerulean blue. So mix that up. And then we're gonna keep it nice and loose. So lots of water. And then we just dump a whole bunch of color on it. Okay. And you see the splatter, how it's like getting dissolved with the color there? It looks really good. Like it becomes part of it. I love that. So add some water again. There you go. Looks really nice. The only thing I do is I'm going to work on that shadow a little bit, because, where are you? Yellow ochre. So under there, there's a bit of a shadow. I'm going to make that dark, so it looks like it's hitting it. Give it some depth. There. Perfect. It's just these little things that actually matter a lot. Just adding your see this area, now that it's dry, I can work on that shadow as well. Okay. I'm just gonna do that. Okay, perfect. That looks good. I like it. Okay, but this pearl here needs to be dark because there's a cast shadow happening there. So it should look like it has a little bit of form to it. Amazing. And now for the fun part of adding some highlights. So I've got this calligraphy ink that's white. I'm going to open it up. Let's put that there. Now we're going to take some white ink for the highlights. This is also a really fun part. So just where the light is hitting it, you're going to add just a bit, just a little bit, not too much. And let's see. Tiny splatters there. On purpose, some of this stuff there. Perfect. And I'm just going to add some lights there. Just to blend it up a little bit. Okay. Clean the brush. And now I gotta add a text on it. So something that goes here to bring it all together. Let's see. Where should I put? What should I put? I'm gonna add some depth here, sorry. Work on that a little bit. Needs to be darker. Okay, any idea what I should put for text? Should I put treasure box? I'm gonna make those lines slightly, some depth there, just a little bit, because some of the areas here are darker, so I think it makes sense to add that depth there. That's good. Maybe a little bit of orange. treasure. I can't think of anything. What can I put on this? Okay, let's come back to the text. But I do want to add a text bit here because I don't think it's done. But there you go. So that little piece as a sketch looks like this. And we did this together, which is amazing. So I'm going to put this here. And then I'm going to do this guy because we still have time so we can get more done. One more. I want to do this guy. So change the composition around a little bit. Whoops. Oh, I forgot. Okay. I do have stamps. I could use that for the text. I did that last time and it was so nice. Okay. I've got from me to you with love. There was limited edition. There was a few more. Hold on. I've got a whole box of it with different kinds of. I mean, I've got like this really cute little stamp. I don't know what that is, but I really want text. I don't want it to compete with the design. And let me just look at my. Oh, this would be cute. What about happily ever after? Yeah, let's do that. I like that. Okay, so the way I do it is I take my brush, and I did this last time, so I think it's gonna work this time, but we'll try. So I'm gonna take some paint, and I'm just gonna paint my stamp. Okay. Let's do that. And then we're gonna stamp it. I'll show you how that looks. Let's color that. Gotta make sure that I got it all. Maybe a lot of that as well. My fear is that it's going to be dry, but I hope not. I hope it's still ooey gooey for it to show up. Okay, let's try. I think this is enough. Ready? Let's stamp this. Could always be a hit and a miss. I'm so nervous. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Stamp, stamp, stamp. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, lovely. Look at that. Happily ever after. Oh. Okay, I'm so happy we went with that. Okay, we're gonna leave that guy to dry over there. It looks great. Happy about the stamp. And now this guy. So I want to do this. So I had this idea about, I don't know if you ever watched Alice in Wonderland. I really like that movie. So I always think of that bunny that's always late. And then I saw this clock in my studio and I was like, I want to sketch that. I'll create that composition here. Okay. So I can see and then you can see what I'm doing. So again, I like going in with my gray zebra, and then I'm gonna just quickly draw. But before I draw that, I actually just remembered that I thought of doing like slippers with it. Let me see. You know how Cinderella is like the whole thing about midnight, striking midnight, and she's late, so I thought maybe I could do that instead of the bunny, because I also thought of doing Alice in Wonderland and then relating that with time, how the bunny is like always late. But maybe I will do that for the next sketch. But for this one, I'm gonna do a slipper, and we'll tell that story another time. So that's gonna be glass slipper, and then we're gonna add this clock in the back, and we'll relate it to Cinderella's story. How about? So I kind of have to change my view a little bit. Just want to do this side very loosely, very quickly. And I'm gonna try to do this super fast because I gotta go and do some other things that I just realized I need to do, and I'm already running late. So here's the clock. Let's start. Okay, ready? Clean our brush. Let's go. Let's do, oops, where's my paper towel? We're gonna do our orange. Mix that up on my palette. And a little bit of water. Let's go orange. Quick painting, keeping it nice and loose. And water. Okay. Water. Now, remember what I said about the shadow? So we're gonna do that there. I already have, I love that about gouache that you can re-wet it. So I already have like lots of paint mixed here already that I'm gonna use for my shadow. So there it is, some shadow colors. Okay, then let's do the slipper. And it has to go through this ugly stage right now, so I know you probably like, what is that and why does it look like that? I promise it will come together. So this is too dark, too thick. Let's make it nice and loose. Hold your brush from far. And there you go. Okay, so inside, I gotta do it a little bit fast. Okay. Ready? Keep it nice. Very nice, very nice and loose. I like to add a little bit of purple in there because I think it will look nice. And let's add the shadow of the shoe. So again, add here. Let that dry a little bit. And then for the inside of my clock, I'm gonna do this color. Let's do it faster. I'm gonna give myself the next 10 minutes to finish this. You think we can do this? Let's see. Okay. Yeah, looking good so far. I'm okay with that progress. Now as that dries, let me work on the inside a little bit. I'm gonna brush pen again, and I'm gonna go ahead and make some changes here. It's going to be darker here, so I'm kind of pressing my brush a little harder. Here. Let's add some numbers. I gotta be like very careful because my hand is like all over the place. And it's still dry. I'm gonna wait for that to sort of. Sorry, it's still wet. I'm gonna wait for it to dry. And then meanwhile, I'll just do some details. And then let's add some outlining for our shoe. If you press your brush hard, it's going to make thicker strokes. If you kind of keep it nice and loose and shaky and just use the tip, it's very, very fine detail. Okay, so here is our shoe. Alright, this kind of reminds me of the Cinderella situation a little bit, so I'm happy that it's kind of looking like that a little bit. There we go. To dry. Okay, we definitely need some splattering, and I'm really missing having a gold ink. I'll just check. The closest thing I have to gold is, actually I don't have anything close to me. I mean, I have yellow, but I guess I could. Let's do this, because we want the shoe to be sparkly. Let's just add some silver to it. I'm going to shake it up and add the silver. So let's add that to the shoe so it looks nice and shiny. Where the parts that matter. There, not too much. And then we're going to add with the background and such. I'm going to grab my bigger brush. And what's the opposite color of orange? It's blue. We could do blue, but I feel like I should do pink. I mean, I give you all that information for opposite colors, but then I go, okay, I'll use pink. Only because it's a super girly color. And I love it, so I'm gonna use some pink, and I think I do need to add, oops, I think I took more than I should have, but, so again, I'm gonna just kind of color it, but hold my brush from far, so almost like very loose, and keep my wrist nice and loose. And then on top of that, I'm gonna add some sparkles, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. And hopefully it will work, or maybe it won't. I don't know. We'll see. Because of this crazy idea. Alright. Ready? So my idea is to use the ink. Use the ink and drop that in that pink to see if it sparkles. it does. It makes a really nice sparkly pink. Okay, how fun. And then for this area, I am going to just take this color, water it down a little bit, and then just kind of, because otherwise it looks like it's just floating. We don't want that. So I'm gonna just quickly add this. It looks like it's situated and not just floating somewhere. Alright, perfect. Just a little bit of depth to places where it's getting lost slightly. Let's add 3, 9, 6, 10, 8, 7, 5, 2. And then let's add it's a little fancy, so I'm gonna try and do that. Perfect. And now, just the last bit. How are we doing for time? I'm gonna add some depth to this area. Amazing. Okay, that's done. And I also want to add, let's add another stamp. My favorite part of the whole thing. What should we add? We've got what is this? Happy birthday? No. I've got a happy birthday stamp. I've also got, I washed those and I don't have it here, but should I do limited edition or should I do for you? For you. From me to you with love. That might I feel like that might be too much for that space. Yeah. It's too big for the space. So either for you or limited edition. Limited edition. Does that make sense? Oh, it has a crown. Yes, it totally makes sense. Alright, so let's do I'm going to do the same red orangey color because there's a lot of blue there next to it, and orange is complementary color of blue. blues, so next to each other they look really nice. Okay, so color that up. And maybe a little bit, just a little bit of red there. Okay, ready? Let's stamp it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Stamp it up properly. Let's see. Addition. Oh, it didn't really show proper. What do you think? I might have just pressed too hard, but it's okay. Look at these. They look so cute. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you up close. If I can get closer to this. Alright, limited edition. I wish, I might go back and work on this a little bit and clean the details out, and once it's dry, then I'm gonna outline it black just so it shows better. And then this guy. Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for joining me today, and if you haven't subscribed, please do, and we'll do this again. Thank you. Bye.